Violence, robbery were the ruling principles in Iraq. The name Saddam Hussein represents the epitome of violence, greed, and hatred. This is the story of the greatest bank robbery in the history of mankind. The greatest money heist, which took place on March 18, 2003 in the Central Bank of Iraq, is about to be unwrapped. Sit back and relax, because this is just the beginning of this great documentary. Let me take you back in the year 2003. Iraq was on the brink of collapse. Saddam Hussein's regime was drowning in corruption, genocide, and the global reputation was irreparably damaged. Frequent demonstrations and strikes were the virtues of this hell-like country. Being born during that regime would have been the greatest curse ever orchestrated by the gods. Imagine being brought to the world when terrorist activities, robbery, and hunger were at its peak, and the chances of you being an orphan anytime soon are high. Remember the 1982 massacre of 148 Shia Iraqis in the town of Dujail. However, the largest regime change was about to take place. The United States of America accused Saddam Hussein's regime for harboring weapons of mass destruction and supporting terrorism. This led to a full-scale invasion of Iraq by the United States of America in the early 2003. Saddam Hussein knew things won't unfold in favor of his regime. Anticipating the fall of his regime, he took a step forward to secure as much wealth as possible. Now the question remains, how did he do it? Stay tuned, because the greatest historical bank robbery is about to be plotted. On March 18, 2003, Saddam Hussein issued a handwritten order instructing the Central Bank of Iraq officials to withdraw vast amounts of money. The note reportedly said the funds were being removed for safekeeping. At the time, Saddam Hussein had a son called Qasi Hussein, who delivered the note written by his father to the bank. The note carried Saddam Hussein's personal seal, making it impossible for the bank officials to object, and the fact that Qasi Hussein was accompanied by the security personnel and military forces loyal to the regime, no resistance was portrayed by the bank officials. The heist occurred just hours before the United States of America began bombing campaign against Baghdad, the capital city of Iraq, plunging the city into chaos. On the morning of March 18, after the note had been delivered, a convoy of large trucks and armed guards arrived at the Central Bank of Iraq in Baghdad. The operation was conducted with precision and efficiency, as though it had been planned well in advance. Inside the vaults, the US dollar was the dominant foreign currency. Bank officials were coerced into opening the vaults under the threat of violence. The trucks were loaded with boxes of cash containing billions of dollars in various denomination. This exercise lasted for several hours. As United States of America forces entered Iraq, widespread looting broke out, with government buildings and banks being targeted. It became difficult to differentiate between organized theft and opportunistic looting. Now, let's take out our calculators and see how much was looted in the Central Bank of Iraq. Initial reports estimated the amount stolen to be $1 billion. Later investigations suggested the total could have been closer to $1.2 billion. This included newly minted USA bills that had been sent to Iraq as part of Oil for Food program transactions. The greatest bank robbery, which began as a single thought, but rooted to the emotion of fear of poverty and death, has been carried out successfully. But this fueled more suffering to its citizens. Imagine the country with precious resources like oil still leading its country drowning in poverty and all sorts of humiliations. In April 2003, US troops discovered $650 million in cash hidden inside the walls of Saddam Hussein's palace in Baghdad. The money was stored in aluminum boxes and crates, some of which matched the descriptions of the cash stolen from the central bank. However, nearly $350 million to $500 million remains unaccounted for to this day that I'm narrating this documentary. It is widely believed that much of the unaccounted money was smuggled out of Iraq by regime loyalists or used to fund in terrorist groups and Saddam's allies in exile. Some of the cash may have been laundered through global networks, making its recovery virtually impossible. Saddam Hussein, who had played a key role in the operation, was later killed by US forces in July 2003. This shut off any chances of recovering the remaining cash. Shortly after the robbery, Saddam Hussein went into hiding as his regime was toppled. With all the evil he had done to his country, the act wouldn't go unpunished. Because this was the real devil. Saddam was captured by the US forces on December 13, 2003, near Tikrit, his hometown, hiding in a small underground bunker, often referred to as a spider hole. After his capture, he was tried by the Iraqi Special Tribunal for crimes against humanity, particularly the genocide that occurred in the town of Dujail, the year 1982, where 148 Shia Iraqis were massacred. On November 5, 2006, Saddam Hussein was sentenced to death by hanging. The sentence was carried out on December 30, 2006. The Iraq Central Bank robbery remains the largest single bank heist in history by monetary value. It highlighted the immense corruption within Saddam Hussein's regime and the desperation of his final days in power. Despite the recovery of some funds, the heist's audacity and the amount of money still unaccounted for make it a compelling story of state-sanctioned theft. The robbery stands as a dramatic example of how power and authority can be abused on an unimaginable scale. To this day, it is a stark reminder of the chaos and corruption that often accompany the fall of authoritarian regimes. If you want future videos like this one, consider smashing the like and subscribe button if you haven't done so. Thank you. See you soon.